Okay, guys, we are back. I have contemplated doing a video on this or not. If you check my channel, I've done a couple, I believe. I have followed this trial or this case, I should say, what is going on in this situation, however you want to frame it, for a couple of years. I will say that, you know, to be honest, when it comes to Depp, he has done some things, before that I didn't really care for. Saying what he said in front of a big crowd. I don't know. I just like it better when actors kind of stay out of politics because it's so inflammatory. It either pushes people away, draws them near. It doesn't matter. But in this situation, you have to separate whether or not how you feel about him, some of the personal statements he's made versus what's going on in this right now, what's going on in this trial. Um, if you don't know, there's to catch you up really quick. These two dated a couple years, got married, were married for I think a little over a year. Um, Filed for divorce. The couple, I think she filed for divorce a couple of days after his mother died, um, and then um, accused him of DV. And that's another big weird thing about YouTube. Certain the words you can't say, but all kinds of words that you can. But So he sued her for defamation in the UK. Actually sued the son for defamation in the UK. He lost that case. It's really hard to win defamation cases. But she had wrote an op-ed for the Washington. I know what was it? Was it the Washington Post? I believe. Um, it could be different. I think that was it though. And I mean, she did everything but put his name in the article when she was talking about DV and abuse, stuff like that. It was obvious who she was talking about. Okay. So right now he's in court in Virginia about this because he sued her for defamation here as well. And right now there's a trial going on if you're living under a rock. And so this video I had to put together. I asked this guy, his name's Brian. He runs this incredibly average YouTube channel. This one right now, look, it's got almost 5.5 million views. Trust me, this was not like this several months ago. So people are looking for this content. And I will say, if I was on Johnny Depp's team or around Johnny Depp, this guy deserves so much credit. If you look, this video was made over 2 years ago. Okay, 2 years ago. This guy has done some of the, in my opinion, done some of the most incredible work that's on YouTube right now. Putting this case together, releasing this audio, he actually took the time to draw a map of the penthouse. It's on his Twitter page. I think his Twitter page, if you put in incredibly average, I think it's the Brian fella on Twitter. But and I can pull that up. I might do another video of this. I don't know. There's so many people doing this content, but I think that if you're wondering how the Justice for Johnny Depp kind of crew, if people were on the herd side of things and thought he was this monster, I think it's so important to highlight again one of the people that probably changed the minds for a lot of others that didn't know a whole lot about this case. It is this guy. It is. And I think he got to visit the trial for a couple of days, and then he had to go back home or whatever. But this dude needs a shout out. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let this video play. I asked this man 2 years ago to use his videos. He gave me permission. And I think so many people have used his videos and their content. I could even count how many people have used his videos. Okay. Articles, other YouTube channels, because they're so well done. But I need to remind you, this woman has accused him of putting his hands on her. Okay. And being the violent person. And I'm gonna let this play through. It's a freaking hour long. So it's gonna be a long one, and he does a great job of narrating. I'm gonna shut the hell up. I hate long intros. So if you like this, let me know down below. And please, I think this is like 60% of people don't even subscribe to your channel that watch your videos. Y'all, help me get to 1,000 subs. For the love of Pete, I know I don't put out much content, but I don't think in wasting y'all's time. Stuff I don't know about. So anyway, here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Just a couple of minutes of your time for the intro. This video is probably not what you expected in terms of what I promised my next one would be, but I believe it needed to be made, and it also needs to be seen and heard by as many people as I can possibly reach with my minimal platform. Even though I've tried to be fair in my presentation of facts and investigative findings, I'd be naive to think people don't see which side of the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case those facts have pushed me toward. I think what you're about to watch or listen to is the single biggest and most damning piece of evidence yet. I hope this doesn't come across as hyperbole, but I'd go as far to say I believe this proves beyond a shadow of a doubt, even though their marriage wasn't what anyone would consider perfect, that Amber Heard absolutely was not a victim of domestic violence at the hands of Johnny Depp as she claims, but was actually his abuser. You'll hear her admit to it multiple times throughout this video in her unmistakable words with her voice. What you're about to hear is a recording of a conversation and argument between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. It's my understanding, based on the audio, that recording their conversations in order to help work on things was somewhat of a common practice. This is a
I think Johnny Depp actually is the one that suggested this. It sounds that way to me anyway, because they would have arguments and she would later on act like none of it happened. Yeah, and all of you recognize this, whether you've been in a relationship like this or your friends have or whatever. When after a fight happens and you try to, talk about it later, they have amnesia about all the shit they did to you.
long piece of audio. As such, it will undoubtedly be my longest video to date. I'll occasionally stop it to add context or commentary when I feel it necessary, and have added subtitles, speech boxes when they speak over one another or during what I believe to be very important moments. But for the most part, I'll be letting the recording speak for itself, and as you listen and watch, keep in mind this is not about whether you believe they had a toxic or unhealthy marriage. Honestly, I think the candid or rather frank nature of their conversation helps to clear up any remaining gray areas. This is about if Amber Heard lied when she claimed she lived in constant fear of Johnny Depp and suffered emotional, verbal, and physical abuse their entire relationship anytime she questioned his authority or disagreed with him, or sometimes for no reason at all. Listen and focus as she transforms from hostile, angered yelling to maniacal mocking of her victim to what I believe is a classic abuser tactic, gaslighting, controlling, and manipulating him with guilt. Unlike my other videos, I won't be adding audible bleeps for cuss words. I want you to hear everything exactly the way it is, so this is your warning. Also, I feel the need to warn anyone who may have triggers from hearing content of this nature. I know a lot of people who watch my videos are abuse victims themselves, and to you I say I'm terribly sorry if this ignites a bad memory. I'll try to remember to put timestamps to key points if anyone needs to find something quickly. However, I do encourage you to find the time to listen to this from beginning to end. So here we go.
No one else to.
I can't hear you, baby. I'm sorry.
I don't know what else to do.
I thought that we had some sort of game plan.
I told you what I needed. You said we should make a list, but yet you don't. Seeing the counselor is not gonna it's not gonna do it. It's not alone. I know. We gotta change how we do things. And I wanna trust you, and I feel like all the trust is gone. All the fucking trust is gone in the relationship because you keep splitting.
I'm not gonna be in a physical fucking altercation
Don't.
with you.
Then don't.
You fucking hit me last night. You fucking.
What about all the other times you split? Come on, you cannot act like that's about that. It's
Well,
not.
we're on a plane. I can't split.
No, and you hit back. So don't act like you don't fucking
I
participate.
pushed you.
Now, this is interesting to point out right here. The first time I've ever seen this man say anything about like putting his hands on her, he says he pushed her. She doesn't push back on this and say, bullshit, you blah, blah, blah. And listen, if you're a woman and you know a man's been putting his hands on you and you feel bold enough to sit down and say all the things she's about to say, you will tell him, whatever, you knocked my, gave me a black eye, or you pushed me down the stairs, or whatever. He said he pushed her. She doesn't look.
I'm not gonna get into the details of that fight.
See, then she wants to, here you go. Let me skate around that shit. Well, I don't want to get in the details. Well, why would you not want to get in the details if this dude's the abuser and you're right now trying to have a conversation about trying to save your marriage?
I both know that you split when there is no physical violence involved. and that you do it like at the very beginning of fights these days. And if you split and you go into a different room and you don't actually leave that house.
I'm really going to try not to do this much, but I'm going to say this. If you are in a relationship and you know one of the parties has a tendency to become violent in arguments, you are trained to, when you immediately see the signs of them getting amped up, you just want to get the hell away, male or female. You like, I'm not going to sit around here for this shit. I'm a better thing to do for me to leave.
It does nothing but perpetuate the fight.
A couple of things to address already. Note how Amber isn't complaining about any abuse she has since claimed to have suffered, and this is just months before the divorce. In fact, her primary complaint in this argument is that Johnny split or left, removing himself from a physical attack by Amber the night before. This will be her main sticking point throughout the video. Her wording is curious for an alleged abuse victim. Amber, of course, testified to only hitting Johnny one time during their entire relationship, apparently to save her sister Whitney. But this is not that day following the March 2015 incident. This is months later, and yet we have already established that Johnny wants no part of these seemingly frequent physical altercations and chooses instead to leave the room or the home altogether when attacked. Both parties speak as if these attacks by Amber are a common occurrence. Of course, Amber doesn't want to talk about the details, but she'd rather stick to the point of Johnny leaving when he's attacked, to which her response is that only perpetuates the fight. So if I'm understanding this correctly, she claims he makes the fight and her response worse by running away. You know, the whole "you're making me do this" reasoning. You may have also noticed that Amber used the words "you hit back," which translates to "I hit you first," and also "so don't act like you don't participate," which is odd phrasing to me. He corrects her by saying he pushed her on the plane during one of her attacks, something he has owned up to doing on another occasion when she was punching him in order to get away from her and get her off of him to get to the door and leave. But I'm sure the act of moving her or shoving her away to escape counts as abuse in her book, no matter what she was doing to prompt it. Now back to the tape.
I'm going to add this: if you put your hands on a man and punching them and swinging around and throwing things at them, whenever they grab you in a bear hug or grab you by your arms to pull you away to try and get away from you, listen, bitches, you can't say that shit's abuse, okay? You don't get to flail around and hurl everything you want to at a man, and then when he's like, bitch, you better stop, and moves your ass out of the way, oh my God, he hit me. No. We live in reality.
When you split on me, how do you feel when I leave you?
When I split, when I go into the other room, you said.
And getting me a room, getting another room at a hotel is just the same thing.
When did I get another room at a hotel?
You text Steven or Nathan in Toronto to get you another room. It's chronic. It happens all the time. And if you do it to go into another room,
Now, listen, she just a minute here. She says she gets another room. She says it's chronic. It happens all the time. We're in the trial. If anybody's been watching, when his sister testified, his sister, who's also like his, is a manager, he's heavily involved in his business and has been for a couple of damn decades, or probably 30 years. And she says that whenever she's making the travel arrangements, because that's part of what she does, she's always gets Johnny Depp another like hotel room somewhere else, so he has a place to freaking run to if this shit if him and her get to a fight and it gets escalated. Now, I'm gonna just tell you this, okay? If you don't have a history of shit going sideways in your relationship, your sister, your manager over here, it's not like, okay, we need 2 hotel rooms for security. We need a room for, oh, don't forget that extra one for Johnny in case she loses her damn mind.
Do it and you get dressed.
You were fucking screaming at me.
I'm not going to validate my actions last night. I feel very bad.
No, I'm talking in Toronto.
I did not start screaming until you had fucking said all this shit. You poke an animal enough, it is eventually done, no matter how friendly it is or how cool.
So she mentions him getting another room in Toronto because she was screaming at him, and even gets it mixed up with the previous night's incident when she was also screaming at him and punched him, again referring to herself as an animal that was being poked, and that's why she does it, attempting to validate her actions.
So I have not done this to you. I have not said these things to you. I have not started the fight by saying I'm going to get another room. And I'm not going to sit here and fight about fucking Toronto.
Listen, I need people to, I don't know if Brian didn't catch this. If you've been in an abusive relationship before, okay, I need you to listen. And that how people do this, like but for lack of a better terminology, mumble rap shit. Well, they'll kind of like spit fire crap at you. But if you stop it and listen, you can find key stuff in that conversation. Listen to what she says.
Not started the fight by saying I'm going to get another room, and I'm not going to sit here.
I didn't start the fight because I said I was going to get another room. She's flipping that around to say that he's starting fights with her because he's getting rooms to get away from her. I'm going to let you listen to this again. If you're in a relationship like this, fucking run for the hills, folks.
These things to you. I have not started the fight by saying I'm going to get another room, and I'm not going to sit here and fight about fucking.
And then look, what's your ramp up? What's your lose her shit? Who's screaming in this situation?
In Toronto anymore. Guess what? I let it go. I'm not fucking talking about Toronto.
Send me the tapes.
I can whisper it. I can write it. Guess what? I'm not saying another fucking word about Toronto. I'm so sick and tired of fucking fighting about old fights. This is not about a fight.
Now, she got abusive in Toronto, so she don't want to talk about it.
This is broad. This is a broad thing. And if I'm telling you
now
every single time you get dressed and you fucking split the top of a fight, you never fucking try and work it out, you never fight for me, you never come to me, you never self-calm, you never self-soothe, you're never the one to throw the olive branch. I'm sick and tired of it. It needs to fucking change. And you can go, I can't meet those demands, I can't do it, or you can fucking promise me so I have a modicum of safety, I feel a modicum of respect, a little tiny shit sliver of fucking like, you are in this whether it is good or bad, whether it is good or bad, down and up, lows and highs, tough and easy.
Here again, saying he doesn't stay and fight with her. He leaves. He removes himself from hostile environments, in her words, every single time you split at the top or beginning of a fight. But I thought he beat her whenever she questioned him or at the drop of a hat. Also notice how much she doesn't want to talk about her abusing him, saying this is not about a fight, but rather the broad subject of him leaving when a fight starts. And you may have caught on, she uses the terms needing safety. You'll realize as this progresses, she's referring to not physical safety, but the safety that the relationship and Johnny are not going anywhere, and she wants to be confident he won't leave, but rather stay and fight through the bad times.
You got the tapes, let me hear them. Send me the fucking recordings. Just text them to me.
I don't know how else to say I will to you. I haven't, because we have not been well. We have not been good.
Now, see right there, again, if you know in this conversation, that means he's asked for these tapes before. He's like, send me the tape. She's like, oh, I will. She says, I haven't because. So he's asked for these tapes to me repeatedly. Because again, in this conversation, she's trying to do, I think, while he's recording this one, and I think when he started recording these arguments, or they both did for that matter, is because after it was all said and done, I believe Johnny finally had enough people around him or started realizing that because people in these relationships will start to try and make you feel like you're the crazy one. You know what I mean? Like you're the one with the shitty memory. You're the one that started stuff. You're the one that brought something up. And all of you out there that have been in these manipulative mental roller coasters of rides with people that try and do this to you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like they start to make you feel like you're the one that's crazy because they're so adamant and drilling into you that that's not how things went.
When I fucking move out, if I move out, then you'll have them and you can fucking relish them. You won't fucking like it, what you hear. Won't make you happy.
Again, all he's done is ask for them. And now she's going to tell him what he's going to feel about the very thing she won't send him.
But you'll hear what I'm telling you.
You'll hear what I'm telling you.
That was after Toronto.
Yeah, that's when we came back here.
I know where we were.
Toronto, Boston, here.
I know where we were. We've been on the road basically since Australia, and I have been at your side, and I have not been filming a movie.
Well, we were on our honeymoon. I hope you were at my side.
I'm not talking about just a honeymoon. Now, am I? I'm talking about many months. And was it all the honeymoon? No. I have been at your side throughout it all. You said, why did you come to Rio? And I answered you.
See, and this is another thing that caught me off guard was whenever she's talking about, I've been by your side for everything. And then she says, you asked me why I came to Rio and I told you. So how much of this was like he trying to get away from her or like take, because when you're in these situations and like you're in this kind of manipulative, abusive shit, but you're still trying to hold things together. You look at those, I would see him looking at those times where he was on set or whatever as kind of like a break from the barrage of shit like this. So again, if you think about what she just said there, I told you why I came to Rio.
Been at your side throughout it all. You said, why did you come to Rio? And I answered you. I would love for it to be better. I have no fucking consistency, no safety, no security. The relationship is something you don't fight for, you don't stand up for, you always run from when it's tough. I'm telling you, I need more. We didn't say vows.
She's using the word tough there to describe arguments that get heated. That's tough for her in this marriage. That's what she's trying to subvert the word, fights and arguments as tough.
You didn't make them exactly in that way, but now is the fucking time. I need to know if you're gonna be there. I want promises. I told you that at the beginning of this conversation. I need promises that you're gonna fucking be there. I need promises that this is important to you, not when it's easy, when it's hard too. If this is something you'll fight for. That this is something that's sacred, that neither of us throw out every fight. I can't be the only one to hold the promises. I was in Toronto and it fucked me over. I can't be the only one. You can't be the only one. If I split on you, all those times that I thought about doing it, we would not be here. And I stayed. And
now here comes the guy. If I had split on you, then I wouldn't be here. Well, see, that's a way to try and manipulate somebody. Be like, I'm the reason, why we're still together. It's me.
It's tougher. That's stronger.
Listen, I'm really trying, but all of you that have been in these fine fucking relationships, if you're wondering why the tides turned against her when these audio tapes coming out, this Brian fellow, the incredibly average guy that uploaded this video over 2 years ago, deserves so much of that credit.
Longer. It is easy to run. It is easy to run away from problems. It is easy to take that out and say, well, that's the easiest. That's the safest way out. I'm not saying we should get in physical altercations. I never want to be in.
So it's important. She just brings up physical altercation. Let you hear her say it again. What's easy, she's trying to basically refer to him as a coward, is that because he leaves when they fight. That's easy. That's easy.
That's the safest way out. I'm not saying we should get out and say, well, that's the easiest. That's the safest way out. I'm not saying we should get in physical altercations. I never want to be in that. Never. Mm-hmm. But every time you don't like what I say and you fucking run away, will never work out anything. You can't run away every fight. You can't. It's easy. It's not brave. It's not strong. It's harder to say to somebody, I want to work this out. I want to face what I have. I want to face what you have. I want to work it out with you. You're not working it.
And I want you to try to remember and pay attention to how many times she insults him in this. You're not brave. She's saying you're not brave. You're not strong. Basically, and I think later calls him a coward. And all the insults this woman will hurl at this man during this conversation. But the minute he tries to bring up a point to where he gets her on something, like he wants to bring up something she's done, then he's trying to start another argument. So then it's like she doesn't want to talk about it. But think about how much of these conversations she does the talking, but how much she insults his intelligence and his bravery and all this other shit.
You're running away, and then you make me be the bigger person every single time and come to you and knock on the door and come to this house and say, hey, we're married. It's supposed to be sacred. Calm down.
I made you.
Yes, by default. If you're never the one to do it, one of us is, and I'm the one to do it every time. It means I'm the bigger person every time. It means I have to be the strong one. It means every time I have to fight for our relationship, and you get to be You get to be lazy. You get to be cowardly. I don't know what it is.
What are you here for?
There it is. She calls him lazy and a coward because he leaves when they start arguing. Because she's now got a history of starting physical altercations with him. And that will come up.
You get to be lazy. You get to be cowardly. I don't know what it is.
What are you here for? What do you need me for?
Once again, I am fighting for the relationship.
With a guy that you don't fucking trust or like? Why?
I did not say I didn't like you. I love you. You're my favorite person in the world.
I don't see how.
I remember what I said at the beginning. I'm sorry you feel like you.
And this is a master manipulator. This is what happens when a person that does this starts feeling like they're losing the upper hand. They slide in. You all know this. They slide in a little bit of, oh, but no, I think you're a great person, right before they start into the tirade of how horrible you are. I mean, it's some psychological bullshit.
Can't imagine it. But I said this to you at the beginning of this conversation. I said, you're my favorite person in the whole world. If you weren't the most magnetic, shiny, beautiful, interesting, dynamic person I had ever met in my life, it would be so easy to walk away from this bratty thing that you do.
Untrustworthy.
Bratty.
Did you hear what I just said? I said I can't trust. That's not meaning you're untrustworthy. It means that we've created a situation. And I'm telling you what you do to create it too. We've created a situation in which trust can't grow. It's like it's trampled every single time, and we need a marriage. That's why I sat down. Do you not remember me sitting down at the very beginning of this conversation and saying just that to you? Saying, I know you got married for security and for safety. So did I. We did not get married because it was something that we're doing, because it was something we could walk away. We wanted a foundation. No?
Yes, I wanted to make you my wife.
Yes, but you could
This is important. I want you to see what he says right here. She will twist his fucking words to try and mumble him up. So again, this shows to me why he started recording this shit. Because she'll try to twist what he just said right there and tell him he said something he didn't say as a way to be like, to try and, get one on him. Watch what he says.
Yes, I wanted to make you my wife.
Yes, but you could
He said, I love you.
Have me as your girlfriend if you didn't want the foundation. And you told me, and maybe you go back on it now. Fine, okay, cool. Lie about that. I don't know.
Now, see how many times she'll say you put words in my mouth, but watch what she does to him. This whole thing is where she infers that he's going to do this or you're going to do that, or fine, be a liar now. Go back on what you said now, and just it comes up again. If you watch this trial, the psychiatrist testified to the fact that Johnny Depp can't argue with her because she does this. She spitfires all this shit at him. And because he's a lot more calm and so every time he tried to get a word out, you talk over it. She testified to that.
You told me you wanted a foundation. You told me you wanted the security. You wanted the safety. You liked the foundation. At the beginning, you said, I really like having that. It feels safe. So don't argue with me when I say it now.
I'm not arguing with you.
Oh.
See, don't argue with me when I say it now. Look who's the one doing all the argumentative verbiage here. Look who's raising their voice and hurling the insults, but now she's accusing him of being the one that wants to argue. You can imagine how somebody in this situation would just get exhausted from going through this with somebody and just get up and want to fucking leave just to try and settle the mashed potatoes they've made your mind.
Yeah, but you had to pick it apart.
See, you had to pick it apart.
By saying because I loved you and you're my wife, I wanted you to be my wife.
See,
that's picking it apart.
Now he said because I loved you. He's referring to what he just said by saying loved is in past tense because he just referred to it. She's going to use that as a way. Oh, you loved me? He's saying love because he just made that statement. So he's referring to the previous statement saying because I said I loved you. But I'm telling you.
No.
Then how did I pick it apart?
No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight about it. I want to fight about this.
He brings up a valid point right here. He's saying, how did I pick it apart? And watch what she does. She fucking fumbles all over herself because now he's asking for an answer. And so what does she do? She reverts back to, oh, now he's trying to fight with her. I don't want to fight. He didn't say that in an argument. He said, what do you mean? How do I pick it apart? And she immediately goes back to now he's trying to start. Now he's the one trying to start a fight. By just asking her to clarify something and questioning her about it. Again, if any of you wondered how the tides turned on this lady, this is a great video.
Then how did I pick it apart?
No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight about a fight. I want to fight about the semantics.
How come when I come up with a point, you can't answer it? You don't want, or suddenly you don't want to answer it?
What am I not answering? Because I don't want to fight about this new thing? No, I don't want to. I said you wanted the safety and security, and you stopped me, you interrupted me, and then you said, what? Because
you didn't interrupt
because I wanted to have you as my...
I didn't interrupt you. You asked me, right? You said, right?
I meant you interjected. I meant you said. You said. How about that? See, now, is this better?
See, he caught her and just trying to gaslight him there by saying, you asked right. And then since he brings up a valid point, she, like, my God, could you imagine being in this fucking relationship with somebody?
I answered you, I addressed what you're saying. Now, can we please not fight about that?
And I said, because I love you.
You said loved.
See, right there. No, he didn't. He initially said, because I love you. And then when he brought it up, a couple minutes later, he referred back to saying that he had said he loved her in that statement. And now she's going to use that to say, you said love. It's saying that, listen, I'm trying to shut up, but God, I have been in both mental, and I've been in both mental and physical abusive relationships. And I am telling you, I know that a lot of you out there can relate, both men and women, to being in relationships where someone freaking does this to you.
If I used loved, my apologies. It doesn't mean I don't love you now.
See how much she actually does pick apart the things he says, or sometimes even doesn't say, kind of like the whole you said loved when he said love part, but then accuses him of picking it all apart. She says she doesn't want to fight about the very things she's trying to verbally beat him down about, this time using guilt and then love bombing him to subdue him before telling him again what he is doing or saying is wrong. At least that's how I'm hearing it.
My whole point that you had, I don't know, an issue with is that you love me. Yes, you married me though because you wanted some safety, some security, some stability, a foundation. Of course I want that with you. It's why I'm married to you. But I need the safety, I need the security, I need the boundaries, and I think you, could you not agree?
I need the same things.
So
But when you start flipping out, and I can't get.
Remember, she needs the boundaries, but when he tries to set any, he's a coward.
I need the same things.
So
But when you start flipping out, and I can't get a word in, and it's manic and angry. What the fuck, Amber?
I get angry. I'm human.
Hey, she gets angry. She yells. She hits him. It's human. Let her be human. Notice who the voice of reason here is, saying that he doesn't want to be there and go through it, and because he just doesn't want to fight, which in turn makes her even more angry because apparently that's what she wants him to stay and do, to fight and stop running, even telling her alleged abuser that he isn't brave or strong by leaving, but she is by fighting. Her words, not mine.
Just try. Let's both try. If there's anger, if there's something fucking really fucking poking us in the ass, let's try. Try not to fucking fight. Try to address it without jumping down each other's throats, because all that's gonna do is build a mountain of fucking resentment, some species of fucking hatred within the love, and totally fucking mistrust, because you say you don't trust me. I get it, okay. I'm flake, I'm a this, I'm a that.
I didn't
All
say
right.
as a person. I was speaking specifically about this. I don't trust the marriage. I don't trust you. I don't feel safe with it because you always fucking bail on it.
Well, then
That's sick.
I don't know,
I want the trust back. You can deflect all you want, say it's my fault, say how dare I get angry at you ever, whatever. I'm telling you. I don't know.
I don't know.
You. I don't know what.
And
the
sometimes
thing
I
is.
don't. I don't want to fucking be there and go through the shit. I don't, man. I don't.
No.
And I don't want to, because I don't want to fucking fight.
But it doesn't have to be one. It's not like I'm saying, hey, choose fight.
You just said I get mad, I'm gonna scream.
No, I didn't say that's always the case. I said, yeah, I'm mad. It happens. It happens.
Yes, I know. It happens often.
If you think I'm some fucking tyrant or bully, then don't fucking be with me. But don't sit here and insult me like I'm the fuck up because I have the
But you're the
audacity to
one
get
saying
mad.
that I'm the tyrant and the bully and at the same time the
I have
guy
called
that
you a
runs
bully, yeah.
away and
You run away every single fight.
Okay, so I mean, then what are you
Then I'm not
doing
lying
with me?
about it.
Then what are you?
Now remember what she's told to the media and all these little interviews she's done, and now her little stage thing outside of the police department. You know how she's made it like he is this massively abusive guy, but yet now she's saying that he's the one that always runs away during fights. If these two things don't freaking add up to you, there's a reason for that. You're not crazy.
Doing with me?
I already answered that. We went through this conversation literally 5 minutes ago. I answered this already 5 minutes ago.
You just said to me that I shouldn't be with you.
No, I said if
That's
you.
what I feel.
No, I said if I'm some, harping bully, which is what you make.
That is literally what she said. If you feel that way, then you shouldn't be with me. And now he reiterates that back to her. She's like, no. Literally, imagine trying to have a conversation with someone where they've literally said something 2 seconds ago. You repeat it back to them, and their answer is no. Like, I mean,
sound like I'm like constantly on you, making you feel bad. That's because that's what I do. And then you ignore everything. You take me for granted. You're ignoring everything that I do for you. You make me sound.
I just want to remind you, she said, like I make you feel bad. In this brief, less than 20 minutes, 15 minutes, she said, called him a coward, said he wasn't brave, says he wasn't strong. But,
ignore everything. You take me for granted. You're ignoring everything that I do for you. You make me sound terrible. You talk about me in a terrible way. You do not fight for me, and then you want to sit here and make me sound so terrible to be around.
Fight for you?
You don't. Everything I've already explained.
No,
10 minutes before.
No, fight for you. I don't understand.
You never ever do the work. Put in the work. If we're arguing about something, you don't ever try to get to the bottom of it, figure out, make the peace. You want to make it easy on you, so you split. You don't fight for me. You don't fight when there's a problem. You don't come to me. You don't make peace with me. You never extend an olive branch. You're never the bigger guy. You're never the one that's like, okay, I'm going to put my own feelings aside for a second and say, this is bigger than us. Let's stop fighting. You never are the one to come and knock on my door. You take me for granted.
It's not true. It's not true. I'm not the one who fucking throws fucking pots and
those are different.
whatever
That's
the
different.
fucking else at me.
That's different. That's
that's different. That's that one just not the other. No, he's trying to explain it to her why he leaves, why he gets out of the situation, and then she immediately comes back. Well, that's different. That's the reason why a man should get away, or a woman for that matter. Anybody should get away from anybody that starts turning violent and starts hurling things at you. You should get away from somebody that does this mental gymnastics and manipulation towards you and tries to make you think that things didn't happen that did. I will tell you until the cows come home that mental abuse to me, I'll speak for myself here, is 10 times worse than the physical shit. The physical stuff, it hurts and all that, but the mental shit will stay with you a lot longer.
One does not negate the other. That's irrelevant. It's a complete non sequitur.
It's irrelevant.
I've thrown pots.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant that she gets violent. And that's why he leaves. That's irrelevant, folks.
Pants does not mean that you come and knock on the door. Just because there are vases does not mean that you come and knock on the door.
Really, I should just let you throw.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then non sequiturs.
I'm giving you a situation.
See what she did? I swear to God, this drives me nuts because he's saying that's why he leaves, is the reason why he leaves. And then she says it's irrelevant. And then she tries to say that he's putting words in her mouth. I mean, it's nuts, man. I'm
not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then making non sequiturs.
I'm giving you a situation.
No, you're trying to justify how you don't or do come to the door.
No,
based
I'm
on whether
justifying.
I throw pots. It's irrelevant.
No, I'm justifying how you seem to think that there's this cowardice in me that runs away and I don't fight for you.
And you're justifying that by saying I throw pots and pans? Okay, cool. Let's talk about everything you do wrong.
I'm not the one who fucking did that. I didn't.
So that makes sense. That's clear. Yeah.
The only time I ever threw anything at you was when you fucking threw the cans at me in Australia.
Why are you trying to justify who throws things.
Now, again, what's important to remember here is this is not long before they split for good. And he says the only time I ever threw anything at you was when you threw all those cans at me. She threw a big mineral can, the metal kind that's like the rectangular kind, at him and like hit him in the head. And allegedly, let's just go ahead and say that. Listen to this conversation. You can draw your own conclusions. But she doesn't say anything back about bullshit. You remember that time you grabbed me by my neck, or you punched me in my face, or you drug me naked over the broken glass? She doesn't. And if this person with 70 million fucking words to say doesn't push back on that and doesn't say you're a liar, doesn't say you're wrong, think about that. And think about Australia. They were supposed to be on their damn honeymoon.
Because
whether or not you come knocking on the door. I don't
because
get
that
why
is a
one
fucking
informs the other.
irrational and violent fucking maneuver.
How
So
does
a
one
man would
inform
want
the
to
other?
get out of that area so that he doesn't get so fucking angry that he actually does pop the fucking wife.
How does one inform the other?
Oh, man.
How does one inform the other? Let's break it down. For one informs the other because if you're having a conversation with someone and it gets heated and one of the people become violent, the thing to do with the thing to do for the one person, if they don't want to ramp it up like the other, you get out of that situation, you leave. That's how one doesn't negate the other.
Go home and listen to the tape.
Now watch.
Please. That's what they're for.
Yes. You listen to the fucking tape.
Oh, I'm gonna.
So will I.
And here we have Amber admitting to throwing pots, pans, vases, and a variety of other things at Johnny, but claiming it's irrelevant to her complaint that he splits because of the attack, and then doesn't come to her to work it out after having the pots, pans, vases, and cans thrown at him. And I'm not skipping over the fact that Johnny did say he threw a can back when she threw a bunch at him. And notice he brought that up, so credit for honesty, while she doesn't even want to discuss it. And neither mentioned that the can actually hit her, nor does she dispute this being the only time and reason that he threw something in her direction. Also, and feel free to leave a comment discussing this, I respect that he would rather just leave so she isn't able to physically assault him to the point he would end up doing something he regrets and hurt the one he loves. Smart move to just leave, at least in my opinion. I'd be interested to know how many people can empathize with that.
I'm not going to sit here and promise you I'll never get mad at you or that you'll never fuck up. I know you want to live in a world where everyone just says yes to you and doesn't question you or criticize you ever.
Don't insult me like that, please.
But that's not the case. That's not why you're with me. I am honest with you. I'm sorry. You don't want to be held accountable. I get it.
I'm not sure you're so honest with me.
Well, that's your...
Watching you live in front of Travis last night was really a
That's your
spectacle.
problem, and that's your whole thing that you've created. So I'm not going to sit here and go over every fight we've had. I'm not going to refight this fight. You have something you're holding on to about Travis. Go fuck. You know, go do it. Go run away together. I don't know what you're fucking holding on to, but you have created that. I have no part of that. I don't know what you're fucking latched onto in your brain, what stray hairs have fucking commingled and tangled in your brain.
Now she's insulting his intelligence. She tells him when he brings up a valid point about she tells him to go have sex with the security team member. I mean, look at how she'll berate him and insult him, but you know, he's the bully.
To make you think you've really figured some sort of thing out, but this is not unusual for you. It's like almost every fight I can pretty much guarantee you find something that you can like manipulate.
Let's ask Travis tonight. If you
yes,
told
why don't we
him,
invite Travis into our fucked up, broken ass, 3 fucking wheeled truck of a marriage? Why don't we crash it straight into the wall, because no one knows us better than fucking Travis.
you're just afraid that the truth will come out.
What truth?
That you lied.
What are you fucking talking about? I didn't fucking even have a fucking thing to lie about. What are you fucking talking about? Every fucking fight, there's a new thing that you've convinced yourself is a lie.
And what, she'll get tore up. She immediately starts ramping up, starts yelling at him. The minute she's cornered into, like, he's pointed out where she's been dishonest. she immediately gets angry and ramps up. And so he does what he does, which is kind of shell up and kind of gets quiet. Because when you're dealing with somebody that's verbally abusive to you, again, I'm just speaking from my own experience. You get so sick of that shit, you just sit there and just shut up. You just don't even care what they're saying anymore. You just want them to go away.
Lie.
I said to you, Amber, tell Travis what you just did. Did you just fucking, did you punch me in the fucking jaw? Did you fucking kick? Did you? Did you? And you wouldn't say a fucking reason. I don't know what you're
so I
talking about.
lied.
Never fucking,
I see the
never
lie.
fucking happened.
I see the lie. You really should run with this. In fact, maybe you and Travis can like go and like, you know, do a tell-all about what a
Hey,
you know, an investigative
stop with
study.
the attitude, right? Stop with the attitude.
Sorry.
You're getting all bunched up.
Sorry.
And see, I think right there is where he sees her. He can see whenever she's about to do what they're talking about now is when he says you're getting all bunched up, and she immediately, because I think, again, if you've ever been in these relationships, if this person feels like this other person's had enough and they're the manipulator, they will commingle this, okay, I'm sorry, or oh my God, you're a great person, until they get the other person to kind of chill out and, you know, settle down. And then they'll immediately start back with the verbal tirade of insults and everything, and manipulation and gas, all that shit.
Sorry.
Amber appears to not know what Johnny is talking about, and after she explodes, Johnny tries to calm her before she gives several short, sharp, and what sound like feigned and taunting, coy apologies. She then suggests Johnny run away and have sex with Travis. Travis was a security member and someone who had testified to witnessing the incident in March of 2015 in which Amber threw things at Johnny, spit on him, and punched him in the face.
It's so fucking pointless, and you know it, to sit here and fight about fucking whatever you think happened with Travis. It wasn't a conversation.
Listen, I was not high.
I'm not going
You
to.
lied. You're an asshole.
You're fucking full of shit. What
Lied,
lie?
you asshole.
When? What conversation did I have with Travis? Big investigative study you've done. I'm not sitting here and fighting with you.
She insults him just over and over when he's like, you lied to him, and then she just immediately turns around to, oh, you're this big investigator now. And it's so condescending. It really gives you a door into what it must have been like to sit there in these situations and try and have a conversation with somebody like this.
In a
About
situation with
the
you.
fight that we had last
After you fucking
night.
got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, "Come up here," because I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean, yeah.
Just come
See
and
what
say.
you see the little under breath insult. Well, come save me. I mean, again, if he was beating the shit out of her, and she had called her friend, like that happens in the end with Raquel when they tried to me, in my opinion, tried to stage this whole thing at the end to do what they've done to this man at the end. I'm telling you. And just so you immediately want someone to come in and be like, okay, so I'm not crazy. I need my friend to come in here and say what happened. So you cannot turn back around on me later on when you bring this up and say it never happened. We've all been there.
No, go ahead. Continue. You Travis to the rescue.
No, that was
Travis to the rescue. She's insulting him. Again, she's got this thing with trying to call him a coward and say he's not brave, he's not strong. I mean, again, she's demoralizing his manhood, trying to frame him as this weak, pitiful person. Again, reminder, everything that in her words said that when these conversations start to get ramped up, he leaves. He gets out of there. He leaves, and she's insulting him for it.
the last one. You can go. You go.
See?
That was the last insult.
Oh, yeah. You called me a liar, and yet.
See, he tells her to go. That's the last insult. Does she take anything what he just said seriously? Does she get up and leave? Nope. She just sits right down there and just keeps going on. So he's told her to get to go on, because now she's just hurling insults not only at him. And this is another pattern I've seen with Johnny. He takes a lot. He takes a lot if it's hurled at him. But the minute she starts insulting his friends or his team of people, again, most of these people on his team, some have been with him. His housekeeper's been with him for 30 freaking years. Okay. His security members have been with him for 20 years. You go find me another Hollywood person that's had people around them for that long a time. It says a lot about his character that these people have stayed with him and he's kept them on. But when she starts insulting those people, that's when he draws the line. He will not let her insult these other people.
I watched you lie.
You watch. She just sits there.
Called me a liar.
I watched you lie. I
You're
heard it. I was
bullshit.
right there.
There's no what. You still haven't told me what lie it is.
We'll talk.
But yet every single fucking time.
We'll talk
you know
to
you
Travis.
do this every single fucking
We'll
time.
talk to Travis.
I'm not fucking talking to nobody.
No,
Fuck
because
that.
you
You go fucking jerk him off. I don't care.
See?
I really could care less. It's you every single
Now,
time.
it's always insulting his manhood if y'all don't see a pattern. Now you go jerk him off.
You latch onto some sort of thing when I already told you. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about. You still haven't even told me what it is. But run with it.
I have told you what it is.
Just did. He told her a while ago that she had hit him, and he lied and told her to tell Travis what she'd done, and she lied about it. He said that quite clearly, and now she's again being like, "You ain't even told me what it." See, who's the one?
No, you haven't.
I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened. You
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell him what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the
You're right.
fucking thing, and you
figured
in
it
the face,
out.
and you said, no, fucking, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I
didn't
watched
punch
you lie, and then
I
I
didn't punch you,
and
by
then
the way. I'm sorry that I didn't
punched
hit you
me
across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching.
Listen again to this. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you with the proper slap. What's the other thing if you use your hand to make contact with a person and it's not an open-handed slap? What's the other alternative? A balled up fist.
Hit
punched
you
me
across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, you've been in a lot of fights.
See, I mean, and look, this little underhanded, I know you've been around a long time. She'll make digs about his age all the time, too, calling him an old fat dude and shit like that. She's done that, insulted him with other people saying that. But imagine, again, and I need society to freaking start doing this. And I will show you examples if you're interested. I've got several of them pulled where men have been in abusive relationships and women using the fact that they're women as a cudgel to try and be like, nobody will believe you, or like they're the victim, and the society as a whole will be like, well, it's the woman. She must have been the victim. Wrong. You're dead damn wrong.
Been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a closed fist.
You didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
You can't.
I don't know.
She's hitting him, but now she's trying to gaslight and say, I wasn't punching you. What? Can you tell me the difference between punching and hitting? And like, again, she shouldn't be putting her hands on the man, period. And remember, they're in court right now because she went out on this DV accusation and wrote this op-ed about it. And then I can show you where the emails back and forth where she had said it was him, and they encouraged her to remove that part. Because we're talking about a newspaper. They know what defamation is. They know what can happen. But again, remember, she's here admitting that she was hitting him, and yet she's arguing with him about the definition of what she was doing.
What the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your toes?
I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
that's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start physical fights?
Calls him a baby. If you don't know what she's referring to, Johnny Depp he testified this in court, I believe it was yesterday. He was taking a shower and she come pounding on the door. When he got out of the shower, he came to the door and started pounding on it. He said he cracked it open. It looked at what he showed in court, about a foot wide. And she was screaming and yelling at him. And he said, so I didn't want to let her into the room. And he said that she was using her whole weight to try and get the door open. He said, and I was pushing it back, and then she yelped out like I'd hurt her, and she said something about her toes or her feet. And he said, so I bent down to look at her feet, and she fucking kicked the door in. It hit him in the head. The frame of the door hit him in the forehead, and so that happened. But like she tries to frame this in her deposition that she was the one in the room and he was trying to get in.
Baby,
because
but see, they're talking about that very thing that happened. Now she's telling you
because you start physical fights.
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did. So I had to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, You did. So you did the right thing, the big thing.
did.
You know what? You are admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse? When there's not a physical fight, then what's the excuse there?
See,
You're still being admirable, right? Just by running away. And you can sit here and call me names, but you get called a name, and what do? That's the last insult. You're a baby. You're a hypocrite. You don't do anything that you actually do. You expect from people what you can't give them.
But this seems to be the day following the incident I covered in this video, in which Amber admitted in her 2016 deposition to pushing her way into the bathroom where
Yeah, here we
Johnny
go.
was hiding from her, and in his attempts to keep her out, the door scraped her toes, and when he leaned down to check, she kicked the door into his head and punched him in the face.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And holy cow, the
You decked him in the face. That's where this whole hitting thing's coming from. I didn't hit you. I didn't punch you. I was hitting you.
admissions
So
here.
remember, hitting is plural here, folks. She didn't say I hit you. She said I was hitting you.
Amber claims she could never even question Johnny without him flying off the handle and beating her while she remained helpless, and here she's mocking him, calling him admirable for running away from the fight all the time, calling him a hypocrite and a baby, while he still remains the rational voice in the room. And I remember so many people telling me and saying, "You don't know what goes on behind closed doors." Well, anyway, we rejoin them with Amber giving Johnny a Xanax, which I'm assuming is to perhaps make him more agreeable, but I don't know.
What are you doing with this?
I'm giving you a Xanax.
Now, and remember, he's all through the relationship. He was in drug recovery. He paid a doctor $100,000 a month, Dr. Kip, a drug rehab kind of doctor, to basically be on call. He had a nurse RN assigned to him, trying to get him detox from pain medication he had been given years ago. And so he also gave up drinking for, I think, like 18 months, I believe he testified to. And they would ask questions if she quit drinking. No, she would drink. He would pour wine for her. And when he had a glass of champagne with one of his friends celebrating, he gave him like the Lifetime Achievement Award or something like that in an award show. He had toasted and drank like a half a flute of champagne, went and got in the car with her where she was drinking wine and said, "I'd really like to drink another glass of champagne. It was tasted really good." And she just berated him, barraged him about it. He says, "Well, listen, then why don't you stop drinking with me?" And she's like, "Nope, I don't have a problem."
Oh, thank you.
Seems like it's worn off.
Yeah, it probably has.
I haven't even been able to have like a fight.
So, and if you don't know those kind of people that will also use your weak points as a way to try and manipulate you, you just watched it. She just fed him a Xanax.
You beyond in any real talking kind of speaking context in so long, because anytime anything goes wrong, you split. I feel like it's your first thing. And it's unnecessary. It's not always you're splitting because there's blows or because there's yelling or anything. You split most times when I'm still speaking in this volume. And
Again, this is see how she immediately lowered her voice. It was like, "Well, you don't just leave whenever I start hitting you, or you leave when I'm talking like this." Anywhere in this conversation, do you honestly think that this woman keeps her volume at the voice she's trying to gaslight him at right now, that she keeps it at?
Has been thrown or hit or anything. No, I can change certain things that are hurting you. But I know I can't blame myself entirely for going straight to the fucking finish line, the first sign of stress yesterday. Because of how it's been lately.
What's the finish line? I can't blame myself for going straight to the fucking finish line. Does that mean punching him in the face and kicking a door in his head at the first signs of shit? Oh yeah, you can. You can blame yourself for becoming physically violent with someone. You sure can.
Because of how it's been lately.
That's blaming him.
And I've been on the road with you. I haven't been working. I don't know what else I could fucking do.
Since Australia, we've been on our honeymoon and we had a great time, other than the fact that we had a fight in the train, which was physical.
Yeah.
But then we had a fight in San Francisco. But I thought everything else was great. You're saying You've been pondering this since Australia.
No, the splitting.
Me splitting.
Like the lack of, I even said this in Australia. I said I feel like it was so good for so long. We'd talk about things. Remember we were allowed to have fights then. Remember we allowed ourselves to say, hey, you did this or you took. Remember we would even have a little argument and it was okay. It was an argument. I don't know what the fuck has changed. I can't figure it out. And I don't mean to criticize anything that you do, but it's so chronic with you, the changes in the personality. It's like sometimes you get these clear months and you're this different person and it's wonderful, you're this, and then sometimes I'm like struggling to stay connected with you, struggling to have 5 minutes with you, struggling to connect with you, struggling to have my friendship with you, and I can't fight with you. It's like, but there's
I don't know what that word was either. But this the hearing's about to start here in about 30 minutes. I will watch the rest of this with you guys if you want to, because I enjoy going over these things, especially the Incredibly Average Guy's videos. He did so much work. Look at these 2 years ago. He was doing this stuff 2 years ago. And if you didn't hear some of Depp's testimony from the last couple days, he revealed so much about his childhood, so much about the relationship with his mother and his father. Again, this guy has been in Hollywood in the limelight for decades, and he was still very private. He was still very private. And I will give a shout out to, I'll show you where I'm going to go. I'm watching the trials. He started streaming them yesterday, thankfully. But this guy right here has been, if you'll see, look at how, I mean, he has done just, see, he's going 8:35, so he's about to start. That's why I'm to go. He has just covered this, covered this, covered this. And I mean, look, but he knows the case in and out. So whenever something pertinent comes up, he can actually comment about it. It's he does really good work. I really like, and it doesn't hurt that he's kind of a neighbor. We're both from the middle of Tennessee, so I appreciate that about him as well. And if you guys want to me to cover the rest of that video, I gladly will. And I highly suggest, if you want to watch the trial, this is the place I would do it. And with that, I appreciate you guys checking this out. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I really need to get to that 1,000 subs because I'm trying to wait on that to go live. And with that, I'm going to get off here and watch some more of this trial. I'll keep you posted if you want me to. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day.